Hi all, this is Once and Future Gamer and welcome to another Pokemon challenge. Last time we had an effort in Pokemon Platinum where we sought to see if I could beat it with just a single Hoppip. Let's kick the difficulty up a notch today and answer the question of if I can beat Pokemon Crystal with just a single Hoppip. Righto then, this is going to be brutal. We are a first form Pokemon with 250 in our base stat total, the best of which is special defense followed closely by speed. This does not look like a good Pokemon as our physical stats are quite frail, so we are liable to get hurt quite badly by some of our weaknesses. 250 is the same as, among others, Bidoof, Marill, Slugma, Spinarak and Swinub. We are grass and flying types, so weak to 5 types, including flying, poison, rock and fire, as well as a quad weakness to ice. We do get a ground immunity, as well as resistances to fighting, water and grass. Move-wise, this is absolutely atrocious. We do not get an attacking move until level 10, and even then, it's Tackle. Game Freak must really hate this Pokemon. The only other damaging move we get via level up is Mega Drain, so I can't help but wonder if I might struggle against anything that resists either grass or normal. Leech Seed might actually be our most consistent way of damaging stuff. TM wise, I hope we get a good hidden power type. Beyond that, there's Return, which massive upgrade on Tackle. There's both Giga Drain and Solar Beam, but downsides to both of them. Low PP and 2 turns to fire, unless I want to add Sunny Day to my moveset. I've actually kind of had 2 requests for this challenge, which probably makes it long overdue, as I had requests from both Dennis Varker and Stilgen16. As always, if you have any ideas for future challenges, head to the comment section down below or follow the links in the description to my Twitter or my Discord. As always, the rules are on the screen throughout. Thanks for watching, folks. If you do enjoy what you see, then like, subscribe and ring that bell. Let's do this. I use the Universal Pokemon Randomizer to replace Chikorita with Hoppip so that I can do the whole run with it. I picked to replace Chikorita so that the rival would take Cyndaquil, which is the hardest for us to fight, because clearly we are not going to get enough challenge in this run. I choose to name the Hoppip Clock, since, as we'll hear in the trivia later, there's dandelion roots in there. This first bit of the game is going to be absolutely horrible, I know it, and it is actually going to be harder in Crystal than it would be in Gold or Silver, and I'll tell you why. So, we don't start with an attacking move. In Gold and Silver, this isn't an issue because there are Metapod or Kakuna north of Cherry Grove City to train up on. Guess what? In this game, there are not. There are other Hoppip, but they only have a 5% chance of spawning, so we've got to burn 75 power points before we can actually damage stuff with struggle. This is cruel and inhumane as a form of torture, but sure. I mean, it doesn't actually take too long. I buy a stack of potions, burn my PP on Hoppips, sounds painful I know, and eventually we start to make progress. Slow progress for sure, but every level we grow is another step closer until we get the mighty Tackle attack. I don't think anyone would ever call this a premier move, but it is what we've got to work with, so we are going to have to make do. It's weak, it's not 100% accurate, but yeah, we gotta make do. Once we've got it, I'm going to examine the path ahead. We have a pretty rough start, as there is a flying gym, and although Alternate is normally a joke, this has potential to be somewhat tricky since we are weak to flying type moves, so that's definitely not even close to being good. Then we have the Bugsy fight, and having to overcome a Cypher with just Tackle as a damaging move isn't fun for sure. There's a rival fight, and until we get Mega Drain, we don't get a move that deals direct damage to Ghosts, and then Whitney and her Satanic Cow, who has a super effective rock type rollout that will hurt us. On the subject of the Falkner fight then, I enter the battle with a severe level advantage. I think all is fair here. I mean, we're probably going to need to be over leveled for quite a lot of this run for sure. We poison the Pidgey and hit some tail whips to lower its defence, all while it lands tackles throughout the fight, which at least don't do a lot, plus we recover some health with Synthesis and then drop it with a tackle of our own. Pidgeotto is harder. we poison it at the second attempt and get hit with gust attacks, which do hurt a lot. And so, we start to use Tail Whip and spam Synthesis to keep alive, all while the poison hurts it. It does take time, but eventually, with it on about a third of its health, we land a tackle to bring it down and give us the first badge. As I travel towards the next gym, through Union Cave and the Slowpoke Well, I can't help but think the Bug Gym is going to be a bit on the tricky side because again, we're dealing with that limited moveset. That said though, the point when I really feel like it is going to cost us is the rival fight just after, because yeah, as I already said, we don't have a way to do direct damage on his Ghastly. In the Bug Gym then, we tackle Bugs's Metapod a bunch of times as it is our best way to damage it. It does fail with a string shot on us and then counters with a bunch of tackles of its own, which not ideal, but we do take slightly under a 6 of our health in damage. Kakuna is more annoying. It spams Harden a bunch of times, which isn't ideal because it does make our tackles do a lot less, but as long as it's not firing Poison Sting attacks at us, I'll take it. Unfortunately, that soon happens, and of course, we do get poisoned. I did put a berry on to get rid of it though, and we soon take Kakuna out. Cypher then. It starts hitting Fury Cutters, we recover health with Synthesis and then land both Poison Powder and Leech Seed to start sapping its health over time. We just then spam Synthesis when needed to and hit a few tackles to wear its health down further, and it helps that it missed a Fury Cutter when it was really ramping up, and so we take the win. Rival fight then, and I already said what the problem is going to be here, since we do not have a move that will directly hurt Ghastly. The only way for us to beat that is to use Leech Seed and hope that things don't go too badly between landing the seed and the damage over time taking it out. And so, that's what we do. I'd almost rather get hit with Hypnosis because it means we're not going to be able to get paralysed, but alas, we have no luck with that. It misses a Hypnosis and then paralyses us with Lick. We have to waste turns until finally the Leech Seed takes it out, and then we have to fight Quilava. We land Leech Seed and Poison Powder and then heal with Synthesis before starting to throw tackles at it. The Ember attacks it lands on us really hurt as you might expect, but our special defence isn't too bad at least, so there is that. Eventually we have to fight Zubat, we hit a tackle, but it does land a lot of bites and I am worried about flinching, as well as being fully paralysed. I managed to heal up with Synthesis, but we miss Leech Seed and get confused. We hit ourselves, but we do land Leech Seed, and although we do get flinched a bunch of times, we still do damage. Eventually, we have to use Synthesis again to stay alive, but finally, the Leech Seed takes it out. That was brutal. It is Sunday, so I head to get the return TM in Goldenrod City. We all know what the issue is going to be versus Whitney, it's not really a secret at this point. Being weak to rock is going to make this fight suck for sure, since the rollout is going to be super effective. Return is probably about the best move we can learn, although admittedly there is not much in the way of competition. Okay, time to fight Whitney and her demonic bovine. Now, I'm pretty sure this is going to be bad, but let's find out just how bad this is really going to be. Maybe I'll be pleasantly surprised by just how smooth the fight goes. This was wishful thinking on my part for sure. We Leech Seed and poison the Clefairy and do a huge amount of damage with return, while it never really hurts us. So, the Clefairy fight is a wash. Miltank though is faster, and that's a problem because she immediately goes into rollout and starts pounding us for massive damage, and it's all we can do to Leech Seed the cow, fail with Poison Powder and then faint. Several more attempts go similar, and finally I decide that training has to be the answer. I head north and start grinding up to get some levels. I feel like I'm going to need everything I can get to inflict the required amount of damage on Miltank. That thing probably does have like twice our base stat total or thereabouts, so not easy. Eventually, I come back at level 35, we Leech Seed and Poison Powder the Clefairy, but do lose a lot of health to Dragon Rage. That's not ideal, and even though we soon do bring the Clefairy down, we are in a less than optimal position versus Miltank, health-wise.
We recover some health with Mega Drain, but still. We seed Miltank, we are faster, and we start spamming Mega Drain to try and keep ahead of her enough to stay alive. And just, we have just about enough to keep ahead of the damage output between Leech Seed and Mega Drain. We can recover all the health we need, and soon the cow goes down. We've got a mandatory rival fight next, and then the Ghost Gym straight after, both of which are liable to be horrible. We have Return and Mega Drain, which are probably the best damaging moves we can get, give or take, but I make the choice to head over to the Lake of Rage and pick up the Hidden Power TM, just purely in the hope that it will give us a better option for the fights ahead, particularly for the Ghost Gym, because that is going to be horrible. They're immune to Return and they resist Mega Drain, so I will need something for sure. We try out our Hidden Power and soon discover that it is super effective on a Venonat, so that means it has to be Fire, Flying, Rock or Psychic. Now given how we're going to struggle with Ghost, Psychic will be pretty handy for sure. We fight a Noctowl next and it is also super effective, so it's Rock type. Well, it gives us a means of hitting Ghost types to neutral damage. We test it on a Geodude and it is resistant, so yeah, just to confirm. While I fight the Kimono Girls, I'm trying to get some levels ahead of the rival fight, since I definitely think we're going to struggle here. His team in this generation is pretty much set up to combat grass types, especially grass types that don't get good move coverage. So that's us screwed on both counts then. I mean, the team he has here, he has 3 Pokemon that single resist grass in Haunter, Quilava and Magnemite, and 1 Pokemon that quad resists it in Zubat, so we are probably going to struggle to hurt him. The Magnemite thing is going to be a problem because we'll probably struggle come the Steel Gym too. I don't think the Fighting Gym will be an issue, the Ice Gym could go either way, but we shall see. On the subject of that rival fight then, it does take a few tries, but eventually we get an effort where we can bring Haunter down with 2 Hidden Powers. They don't do a lot of damage, which is ominous for the Ghost Gym, and it takes itself out with Curse. That is us on a timer then. We take Quilava out with 2 returns, but we do get hit with Ember in exchange. Magnemite is a free hit with Mega Drain, but we have to survive a Curse on 1 HP, which, handy. Before, Magnemite also missed a Sonic Boom, which would have ended us for sure, which, way too close. Zubat does at least go down to Return. I am going to train ahead of the Ghost Gym because I do not think we are going to win at this level. I head to Olivine and start to climb the lighthouse, so while I am training, let's do some Hoppip trivia. A lot of the Pokédex entries talk about their bodies being light and how the winds blow them away. Some entries talk about how they gather in clusters to avoid this. Some talk about how they grip the ground with their feet to stop this happening. The Diamond and Pearl Pokédex entries even talk about how their gathering in fields and mountains is a sign of spring being on the way. The Pokemon Scarlet Pokédex entry states it is unclear where the Hoppip of Paldea originally came from, and the Violet Dex entry states that they can be found everywhere apart from cold regions because the wind carries this species all over the world. In their debut anime appearance, they were used to predict the weather. An early design of Hoppip had no arms and legs and was dark coloured, resembling a black cat. The English names of Hoppip and its evolutions were partially coined by Nob Ogasawara. It appears to be based on a bulb or a root. The leaves on its head resemble leaves of a dandelion. Its body also slightly resembles a cat. This may directly reference the cat's-ear plant, which closely resembles the dandelion despite the 2 species not being related. When it moves, its leaves spin like the propeller of a helicopter. Its name may be based on a combination of hop and pip. The names of all stages of its evolutionary line is based on the phrase just a hop, skip and jump away. Eventually, I make my first try on Morty, and after navigating the invisible paths of his gym, we are at level 43, so nearly 20 levels higher than his ace. Unfortunately, again, like with Whitney, his ace has double our base stat total, so we need something to even up the score. We can't even one-shot Ghastly with Hidden Power when we're 22 levels higher. It takes itself out with Curse, and that has probably ended any serious chance of victory here. We do crit Haunter with Hidden Power, meaning we can 2-hit that, but it hurts us with Nightshade. A second Hidden Power takes it out. We face Gengar next, we Leech Seed it, but we do get put to sleep and finished off with Curse damage and Dream Eater. Not good. I would like to say that our next efforts go better, but they really don't. Gengar is just a huge obstacle to overcome, and even assuming we can get out of the Ghastly and the Haunter unscathed, getting put to sleep and having Dream Eater spammed is just too much. We have horrible sleep luck in these efforts, I will point out, sometimes not waking up for 5 to 6 turns, whereas no doubt if I put it to sleep it'd wake up the turn straight after. We have to be all the way at level 50 before we get a winning run on Morty, so imagine the amount of grinding I had to put in. It is hard to find wild Pokemon higher than level 20, so yeah. We shoot Hidden Power at Ghastly. We can take it out with 2 of them, but at least we only get hit with Spite and nothing else. So, it's bad for our PP, but not our health. Haunter, number 1, comes out, we Hidden Power again, and it takes itself out with Curse. Uh-oh is the phrase that springs to mind. Gengar emerges, we hit Hidden Power, it fails with Hypnosis, we crit our second Hidden Power to put it in red health, it fails with Hypnosis again, and a third Hidden Power takes it out. Lucky or what? The second Haunter comes out, we Hidden Power it, survive a Nightshade, then take it out with a second Hidden Power. Phew! Too close even with that level advantage. Okay, so as we move towards Siamwood City, I've got options between doing the Fighting Gym and the Steel Gym, or heading back over towards the Lake of Rage and doing the Team Rocket hideout and the Ice Gym. The Ice Gym might be a tricky obstacle in this run. We do have a quad weakness to that type after all, so better to be safe than sorry. I mean, I think the Ghost Gym is quite possibly the worst obstacle we were going to face, so now that we're over that hump, things should be golden, I guess. Steel Gym could be tricky. We don't have fantastic ways of making Jasmine hurt, but I guess I have nothing to worry about with the Fighting Gym. And the Fighting Gym is where I go next to face off with Chuck. I definitely think we'll be okay here. He is widely regarded as a bit of a joke in the annals of Pokemon lore. He only has a Primeape and a Poliwrath. 2 Pokemon at this stage of the game is questionable, but oh well. We down Primeape with a single return before facing off with Poliwrath, who I really doubt can hurt us too much. We hit Mega Drain for slightly under 2/3 of its health, it misses, Hypnosis on us, and then we take it down with another Mega Drain. 5 badges down. After healing Amphi at the lighthouse and letting Jasmine return to her day-to-day duties, I decide to swing into the Steel Gym and see how we fare versus her at this point. But I am sad to say this doesn't go entirely well, as we keep getting paralysed, so that makes things harder. Plus, we get pounded by Iron Tail from Steelix, which, not pleasant, so even with us spamming Mega Drain, which is what I assume is our best move in this circumstance, things do not go well. A second attempt happens and I decide to change it up a bit, since the first effort really didn't turn out so well. And in this run, I start out by going for a return on Magneton number 1, but we still get paralysed and hit with Thunderbolt before taking it out with a second return. Steelix misses Iron Tail, we hit Leech Seed, and suddenly we are getting health back. We combine it up with Mega Drains, which at least do neutral damage in this instance. The Iron Tails that Steelix does land do hurt, but at least we can recover our health back, and eventually we take it down and go into the battle with Magnemite number 2. It fails with Supersonic, hits Thunderbolt on us for okay damage, but we land 2 returns to bring it down and take the 6th badge. As we go through the Rocket hideout, let's talk about what's ongoing with the channel. There's been stuff uploaded, more Buffy, more Batman, more Pokemon Master Showdown, it's all good. Or is it? You might notice this video was late. I'd like to talk more, but I don't really have the inclination right now. I'll bring more up at the end of the video about what's going on. If I'm mentioning Buffy, Batman and Master Showdown, this might give you an idea about when this is being written versus when it's being recorded versus being released. Price is going to be our next opponent, and in theory this should be easy since all his Pokemon are weak to grass. That is true, they are. However, the problem also is that we are super weak to ice, so that'll be a problem. Seal is up first, we down it with a single return, and I'm hoping to do the same to Dugong, but it survives and hits a quad super effective Aurora Beam that does good damage. We finish that with Mega Drain to get some health back, and then we are facing Piloswine, who has Blizzard. We do massive damage with Mega Drain, survive a Blizzard, watch him heal, and then we have to take it out with 2 more Mega Drains. Phew! I did not do that on the first attempt, I will make you aware of that. Going through the radio tower, there will be a rival fight ahead, 2 of them in the next 3 major fights to be fair. Rival fight, Dragon Gym fight, rival fight at Victory Road, and then the Elite Four. I suppose I'm not too worried about the fights with Rod. It is not going to be anything I've not dealt with before at this point. Always fun though, I guess. It takes a few attempts, I'm not going to lie, largely due to bad status luck, and we do have to go off and train even more. But eventually, at level 63, we face Golbat and one-hit that with Return. Quilava also goes down to a single return. Magnemite survives return and hits Thunder Wave and Sonic Boom, but we drop it with Mega Drain. Haunter uses Curse on us, that's not good, and we get hit with a bunch of attacks. We take it out with Hidden Power and Mega Drain, before, finally, at the very end, we face off with Sneasel and bring it down with Return, despite getting hit with Feint Attack. I move through the ice path, making my way towards Blackthorn City and the Dragon Gym. I don't know how this will go, I suppose really it depends on how I deal with the Dragonair and can avoid status conditions, because that is not going to be an easy thing for sure. I've seen this time and time again. Being paralysed does not make the fight any easier in a single Pokemon run, particularly when you are weak to start with. Those are second stage pseudo-legendary Pokemon, I will remind you, and Kingdra's no slouch either. On the subject of Claire and her sneaky status-inflicting tactics, it does take a handful of attempts before we get a run where we become triumphant over her. Again, paralysis! On the winning run, we down the first Dragonair with Return, and we do the same thing to both the second one and the third one. Kingdra fails with Smokescreen when it gets the chance to attack, and it is a simple matter to down it with a pair of returns that give us a majestic victory. Onwards towards Victory Road then, and I have to think about what lies ahead for us. I can't see things being easier now that we've almost made our way to the Elite Four. They have Pokemon that we may have problems with for sure. Will has 2 flying types and an ice type on his team, both of which could potentially cause issues, Jinx especially. I know we have super effective Stab versus Slowbro, but that thing can be annoying as well. Koga has poison types, plus a Fortress that resists every single move we have, so that isn't going to be a fun sort of fight either. I think the poison types might actually be preferable to fight there. Bruno might not be too bad, I mean in theory we should have an advantage, but we don't get any Stab flight moves, and a couple of his Pokemon have rock moves. Karen is just going to be downright unpleasant, I can tell. Umbreon, Vileplume, Gengar, Murkrow and Houndoom. How many tries is that going to take? Ditto, the flying type specialist at the end and his army of Dragonites. We have the rival fight ahead before we can leave Victory Road, and I am reasonably confident. I mean, we have to do it to get ahead, so no point worrying. He begins with Sneasel and we bang it down with Return before, in the next round, we do the same to Golbat. Typhlosion survives Return and hits Smokescreen, which, not helpful. We do end it with Hidden Power though. We miss Return on Magneton and get paralysed with Thunder Wave, before losing a lot of turns to paralysis and missed attacks. We do eventually land a Mega Drain and a Return, but it really does take a whole lot of time. We take a bunch of Sonic Booms, and by the time we do take it out with a Mega Drain, we are in red health. Haunter is next. We hit Hidden Power after it only goes to Mean Look, and that's a relief. That relief soon fades though when we are taken out with 2 Shadow Balls after missing the Hidden Power that would have ended it. I try again. We weren't too far away, so I can only hope it goes in our favour this time. Sneasel and Golbat at the start both go down to return, but this time we go for Hidden Power on Typhlosion, and it obliges by only going for Flame Wheel rather than Smokescreen, so our accuracy is unimpeded. That was our Achilles heel last time, so it's nice to be able to go into Magneton unscathed. This time we go for Leech Seed to try and get some chip damage, since we can't one-hit it. In no surprise to anyone, we get paralysed, but we can land Mega Drain and return to bring it down quickly. We fight through Confuse Ray to hit Haunter with Hidden Power, the first time anyway. We do lose a few turns to hitting ourselves in confusion and being unable to move, but we bring it down with 32 of our hit points left. Thankfully though, Kadabra doesn't go for a killing blow and instead uses Future Sight, which gives us a free hit to take it down with return, so that went better. Anyway, in the Indigo Plateau, here are our stats at level 76. None of it is particularly outstanding. I mean, our speed and special defence are both above 130, but even that's not particularly high if you do stop and think about it in the harsh light of day. Our attack stats are both bad, with regular at 107 and special at 109. Mind you, it could be worse. I have done runs where the stats have still been in double figures at this point. But anyway, take your guesses on if I can do it at this level or not. Right now folks, let's do this. Psychic Trainer Will is up first, and I've already said my piece about where I think we will struggle versus this charming weirdo in his mask. Let's see how this plays out. We hit the first Xatu with return and take it out. We promptly do the same thing to Jinx, but the second Xatu survives return and hits Confuse Ray. We can't take it out before he heals. We get hit with a few Psychics before we soon do bring it down with some Hidden Powers, but we do get a bit hurt in the process. Executor survives return and goes for Reflect, but we can still take it down from low health thanks to being able to hit it hard enough. On Slowbro, we go for Mega Drain. It barely survives and goes for Amnesia, but we finish it with return. One down. Poison Trainer Koga is next, and like I said before, I don't expect this to be fun. Ariados survives return and goes for Double Team, but we take it out with Hidden Power. That could have been so much worse. At least we weren't swinging and missing for ages. Muck is next. It survives return on about a third, but only goes for Acid Armour. But we can take it out with another return. Crobat survives return, goes for Double Team. We miss 2 returns and get poisoned by Toxic before we finally make contact with a return and bring it down. That was annoying. Fortress is going to be fun now, I think. Venomoth is next. We strike a return and bring it down. Fortress spams Protect, which, given we have been Toxic poisoned, is rather annoying. Our returns do maybe a quarter, which also annoying, but better than I thought. However, our Hidden Powers do nothing, and eventually we do go down to poison damage. Take 2 then, that was unfortunate. Ariados does go down to return this time. Muck does go for a Minimise, but that doesn't save it. Crobat goes for Double Team again after surviving return. We miss a Hidden Power and get clipped by a Wing Attack, but we land the blow at the second attempt. Venomoth goes down to return once again. We manage to Leech Seed Fortress this time, which is good because we are at least doing chip damage when it spams Protect. And this, in combination with some returns and Hidden Powers, soon bring it down. Whew! Bruno then. Might not be too bad, but I guess we will have to see, won't we? Hitmontop survives return, hits 2 quick attacks, and then goes down to a Hidden Power. We'll get some health back soon. Hitmonchan goes down to a single return. Onyx goes down to Mega Drain very quickly, and we hit return on Machamp for 2/3 of its health before it lands Rock Slide. Another Mega Drain finishes that before we down Hitmonlee with return to give us a victory over him. It's time for Karen then, and I think I've got a pretty good idea how this is going to go. Badly, I guess. Umbreon survives return and hits Sand Attack and Confuse Ray, which, as you might guess, costs us a lot of turns. We do eventually take it down, but that is going to be a problem. Houndoom survives return, she heals it. It does massive damage with Flamethrower, but we can take it out with 2 Hidden Powers. Vileplume goes down to a crit return, which always handy for sure, before Gengar is next. It shrugs off Hidden Power and lands Lick and Spite. That drains our Hidden Power PP to 0, which is a problem, so I go for Mega Drain. But we almost have the same problem after Spite again. I hit Leech Seed instead, and despite Spite draining our Leech Seed PP, we can take Gengar out with a crit Mega Drain. Murkrow is last, we miss return, get hit with Feint Attack, but land the blow at the second attempt, and we have a victory. Okay, I didn't expect that to be a first effort. Lance then, and one thing is for sure, it very quickly becomes apparent at this point we cannot do it at this level, not without an insane amount of luck. The Dragonites paralyse us, the Aerodactyl can hit super effective Rock Slides, and on that latter opponent, it's not like we're even that capable of hurting it badly. Not to mention Charizard. It takes a few efforts, but I eventually realise we are not going to do it at this level, so I bow out gracefully to go and train up. On the winning run against Lance, it looks something just like this. At level 89, Gyarados survives return and then goes for Rain Dance, which, not a problem, but then we have to end it with Hidden Power. The first Dragonite goes down to a crit return, which is absolutely massive because that's the one that knows Blizzard. We then double down on the crits and take Aerodactyl down with a crit Hidden Power, and we might just be over the hump right now. It is still raining at the moment, so not too worried about the fire attacks, but we one-hit Charizard with Hidden Power anyway. The Fire Blast Dragonite survives return but only goes for Safeguard, and we can take it out with a second return for a quick knockout, before we have the final Dragonite ahead. It survives return and hits Thunder Wave and Hyper Beam in succession, but we drop it with a second return, and just like that, we've entered the Hall of Fame, and we have successfully become the champion. The credits roll and all is well in the world. Anyway, once the credits are out of the way, it's time to head to Kanto, because this is Gen 2 and there's a point to the post game. Most of the Kanto gym leaders are easy fodder, but as always, there's the penultimate boss in blue and the final throwdown with red. Let's talk about the blue fight. Pidgeot goes down to 2 returns, but we get hit with a Wii attack that hurts. Arcanine is next, and we can do massive damage with returns, but we have to shrug a flamethrower off. Blue uses a full restore, but 2 more returns bring it down, and at least we can recover health. Alakazam is third, we down it with a single return. Rhydon is fourth, not sure what he was hoping for here, we one-shot it with Giga Drain. Gyarados shrugs Giga Drain off and goes for Rain Dance, but we take it out with return. Executor survives return and hits Egg Bomb, but a second return brings it down. 16 badges in hand, nice. Red then, I worry about this fight, I'm not going to lie. Pikachu shouldn't be an issue. I mean, the Charizard is the obvious threat here, but we do have decent special defense. We do have that quad effective Hidden Power, though I am not sure how much that will do. Espeon and Snorlax will probably be their usual problematic selves. Blastoise might seem easy, but I need to remember that it has Blizzard. Venusaur shouldn't be too bad, I think. We power up to level 100 and it takes about a dozen attempts. We lost a fair few efforts to being burned by Charizard, we lost efforts to Snorlax, we lost efforts to Blastoise. But the final one goes something like this. Pikachu is always a one-hit with return. Charizard is always a 2-hit with Hidden Power. It does hurt us badly with Flamethrower though, doing about 2/3 of our health, give or take. Espeon can really hurt us with Psychic. We go for Leech Seed, but it only goes for Reflect, and then we spam some Giga Drains to get some health back and put us in good condition ahead of Snorlax, who we also seed while it goes for Amnesia. Our returns don't do a lot, at least until the Reflect fades, but we do get a lot of health back from Leech Seed. My heart is in my mouth every time we get hit with Body Slam, because we lost at least one effort to Paralysis, but we soon bring it down with an assault of returns to face Venusaur. Said Venusaur is a free hit with return. It does spam use Sunny Day and Solar Beam though, but we shrug that off, and it is Blastoise last. It survives Giga Drain, but we managed to survive the blizzard on red health and take it out with another Giga Drain to give us a narrow win, and I am relieved. Hard run, definitely in places. Some bits weren't too bad, but the hard fights were appalling. Morty, Lance, Red, I suppose you could include Whitney in that as well, all gave us trouble in their own ways. Thanks for watching anyway, folks. I hope that you enjoyed. If you did, please don't forget to leave a like, smash that subscribe button and call out with a comment. I'm going to talk real for a moment, folks. I'm tired, or at least I was when I wrote this. I've had a lot of personal stuff going on in my life in the last few months. Some of you may know, you may remember, back in October time last year, I came out of a relationship with the woman I was with. What you may not know is that I got back together in January with her, and recently it came to an end again as she cheated on me, and there's been some fallout from that. There's also been a death in the family. I've had a lot more stuff going on at work. I'm trying to set up a business too, so I've had a lot going on. Now, I will say that I don't want to step away from doing this stuff. You might have noticed this video was late. I'm just struggling for the time being. I'm finding it hard to complete these to deadlines at the moment, and it affects other things I might want to do with this channel. So, I made the decision to take a breather for a few weeks, which turned into a few months. Reassess and reevaluate. I will come back to it. I've just been chilling for a few weeks, playing games without a need to record them. It's just been nice, and I needed this decompress. Of course, when I did come back to recording, you may have noticed my voice did sound a bit off towards the back end of this recording particularly. I did pick the time when I had a cold to start recording again, which probably not ideal in any sense of the world, but hey ho. Anyway, this feels like a bit of an anticlimax, but I am stepping off here, folks. Thanks for understanding. Thanks for being here. I'll see you when I see you. Oh, next challenge, when I get round to doing it. Well, I say when I get round to doing it, I have actually finished recording it come this point at the time of recording the audio for here, is Pokemon Emerald with only HM moves. So, when that video airs, I am not sure. I've got recording audio to do for that, so I have no idea. The audio recording is the thing I'm struggling with at the moment. I don't mind the actual playing of the games. I don't mind recording the footage of the games, but it's the recording the audio that's just doing me over at the moment. So, hopefully I can get over that hump, but yeah. I'll see you next time, folks. Thanks for coming. Bye-bye. So long. See ya. Take care.